What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined by my dad, Sean, and today, reactions to the classics. We are finishing out the 70s and our top 5 albums by year draft. It's been a fun journey, man. 70s, such a loaded decade, and man, there are some great albums here in 79 to boot.
Yeah, there is, Trey. Looking forward to finishing out this decade. Guys, if it's the first time joining us, where you been? We've been doing this since 1965. Go back when this is over with. There's a playlist included, and go check them out. The way it's done, it's snake draft style. In this particular draft, I get first pick. Trey gets 2 and 3. I get 4 and 5. Sometimes it's an advantage to have first pick if it's a weak year. If it's a loaded year, like I think this year is a little bit, it's not necessarily to the advantage. But that's how it goes, guys. And be paying attention because we're going to want to know who you think won in the comments below when we're done. So Trey, you ready to kick this off?
Let's do it, man. Who would you got at 1?
All right, number 1. This is a kind of a fitting thing because we just celebrated the 3-year anniversary of our channel, and this was the very first album review we ever did. If you guys go back and check it out, you'll be a little bit amused if you're come to our channel later on. Off the Wall, Michael Jackson, my number 1 pick. His 5th studio album, his first produced by Quincy Jones. Only went to 3 in the U.S. 5 singles were released from the album. Number 1, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, and Rock With You, with Off the Wall and She's Out of My Life, also reaching the top 10. 4 top 10s, but guess what? I think when we get a few years later on, he's going to almost double that. That's just off the top of my head. He became the first solo artist to have 4 singles from the same album reach the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100. He will shatter that later on, but that is my numero uno pick.
Yeah, I think that is MJ's best record, in my opinion.
Me too, man. Hot take from both of us, but totally agree.
You know, I think one of the, if not the greatest disco album of all time as well, man. Just holds up so well today. So love that pick, man. I'm choosing another monster. You know, some people include this in their list in 1980, but it was in fact released in December of 79. So we got the Clash's London Calling coming in here. Double record, Dad. Really shows the Clash expanding the amount of sounds that they're doing. You have a lot of boundaries being pushed by them, and just some great tracks no matter what style the Clash is going in here. My favorites, of course, the title track, one of the most famous Clash songs of all time. The underrated I'm Not Down, Death or Glory, very anthemic, Lost in the Supermarket, Spanish Bombs, and of course Train in Vain, which just might be the Clash's best tune. So I had to give some love to the Clash there, and gonna keep in theme with the double records, man. Going with Pink Floyd's The Wall. Of course you have Comfortably Numb, Hey You, Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. I think the music video is running through everybody's heads as I'm bringing it up, man. Concept record that's works best, I think, as a listening experience from front to back, though of course you do have some of those singles that are some of Floyd's most famous jams right there, man. So again, arguably Waters' I think last great record, but it's an epic, and I think it has a claim for a reason.
Yeah, it's one of the toughest reviews we've ever done. We got a 2-part review up of The Wall. I'll put all of the albums that we've reviewed that are on this list on links right down below. Check them out after this. But yeah, The Wall is definitely one of those complex things. This is one of those years when I promoted how we were going to pick, where I think that the top 3 albums, and I kicked all your 2 and mine around for number 1. You could have convinced me on any of those 3 and I would not have an argument. But after that, I think there is a definitive drop off. I think this next album, though, is kind of in a tier by itself before it really drops off. I just recently did a review of this, Breakfast in America by Supertramp. Trucker Kev brought this, our patron. I'd never heard it. Fantastic. 6th studio album, is their biggest selling album. More than 4 million copies sold in the U.S. And just a weird little thing that I found when I did the review, 3 million sold in France, which is insane. It's the 4th best-selling album in the history of France. It sold over 20 million copies worldwide. Number 1 in the U.S. for 6 weeks. Also hit number 1 in Norway, Austria, Spain, Canada, Australia, and France. I think that's interesting because those are all over the world. All kinds of different demos.
Well, it shows the catchiness that Supertramp has, on top of just being great instrumentally as well. It doesn't matter what language you speak.
Exactly. In the UK, The Logical Song and the title track were both top 10 hits. They're only 2 top 10 hits they had in their native country. Also, you got Rick Davies and Roger Hodgson. They had issues. They didn't get along. You can watch the review and see that. But it's amazing they had this kind of prolific output. I'm going to go to another one that we've done a review of, Damn the Torpedoes, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, 3rd studio album. This is where they really took off.
Oh, yeah.
First top 10 album, rising to number 2 for 7 weeks. Unfortunately, Trey, They were kept out of number one by your last pick,
By The Wall, man.
Timing's everything, ladies and gentlemen. You come across an iconic album, it keeps you out of number one. Of course, you got Refugee, Don't Do Me Like That, Here Comes My Girl, Even the Losers. Very loaded on side A. Side 2, not quite as well, or side B, but still a really good album.
No, man, I can't complain with either of those picks right there. I almost picked Supertramp before The Wall, honestly, but
I'd have been good either way.
It's great, and we're gonna go now to another iconic record, Joy Division, Unknown Pleasures here. One of the kind of cornerstones of alternative rock, of a post-punk. Ian Curtis and Joy Division only came out with 2 records.
Yep.
This is the only one that was released when he was alive. And I mean, you have some of the best bass work of the decade and of all time on this record by the great Peter Hook here as well. The rhythms on this, it sounds even fresh to this day. It's just a very post-punky, dark type of dark type of record, man. And one of their most famous track, Disorder, is on here. Love that. New Dawn Fades, She's Lost Control, and I think that honest lyricism from Ian Curtis has really impacted people through generations, man, and I think it will continue to do so. So had to give some love to that. And now going back to double records, I'm gonna go Fleetwood Mac. Tusk, double ambitious record coming off of Rumors.
Ambitious is a good word.
Of course. It shows that even though every song on here might not be a hit, to me at least, it's still a really strong effort. I'm more a Stevie Nicks guy than Lindsey Buckingham, which is a bit disappointing that Lindsey doubles her up on this record.
He really pushed this album. This is really his vehicle.
But, every Nicks track on here is a hit. But even still, Buckingham's more of a hit than a miss on this record, that's for sure, man. Some great soaring guitar work, as you'd expect with Buckingham. Even Kristen McBee has some strong tracks, with Think About Me being the highlight. All in all, impressive. Obviously, the highlights are going to be Sarah, Storms, About Me, Beautiful Child, I Know I'm Not Wrong, as well. So, I think I could imagine at the time how wild that would have been, that you're coming off the success of Rumors. What are the Mac going to do next? And then I think you almost had to get a little experimental and push boundaries after that.
Yeah, you might have. I don't know, man. That album does not hit for me. So you didn't steal this one from me. Your other 2, yeah, and Joy Division, maybe not, but that one you definitely didn't steal from me. And I'm more of a Lindsey guy, but Lindsey really took that project over, and not necessarily for the better at all times. I'm going to go with one of my favorite bands and one of our big discoveries on this channel, Setting Sun's The Jam.
Paul Weller.
Paul Weller, baby. 4th album, 4 in the UK, 137 in the US, which might not sound like anything, but they're finally getting a little bit of hits in the US. The sole single, The Eton Rifles, of course, The Eton Rifle, becoming their first top 10 UK hit, peaking at 3. 4th best album, 79 by NME. NME with Eton Rifles and Strange Town ranked at numbers 1 and 5 among the year's top tracks. The only thing, and I did a review of this, The Odd Heat Wave by Martha and the Vandellas to finish this album off. Yeah. It was a little weird. I kind of got a little clarity on the comments on that review. I kind of understand it a little more, but strange to me. Weller originally conceived of it as this concept album detailing the lives of 3 boyhood friends who later reunite as adults after an unspecified war, only to discover they've grown up and apart, but it never fully developed. So we don't even know which one of these songs were supposed to be on there, but that's kind of a little bit of why it has a little bit of the tone and the cover.
Yeah. Well, I think the Jam, just especially here, 4th record, really hitting their stride with Weller's lyricism on top of just those catchy melodies that are all throughout this record.
And they may appear in another one of my lists. You never know. And I'm gonna finish this off with a buddy of mine and yours, Uncle Neil.
Let's go.
Rust Never Sleeps, Neil Young and Crazy Horse, if we want to get real technical. It's a live album, but it's not a greatest hits album. Tremendous critical acclaim. Rolling Stone actually picked this as their 1979 album of the year. Most of the albums recorded live, but then overdubbed in the studio. So it's not a total live album. He used the phrase Rust Never Sleeps as a concept for his tour with Crazy Horse the previous year in 78 to avoid complacency and trying to be more progressive and almost theatrical performing live. The concert tour was divided into a solo acoustic, and then he would bring out Crazy Horse, and that's the way the album is. You got the side A of solo acoustic stuff and side B of the more electric. So then it all comes down to, Trey, we had this question on the album. Acoustic or electric? Do you like My, Hey, Hey, the acoustic that starts the album, or Hey, Hey, My, the electric? I know which one you like because we've debated
I'm in the electric guy.
And I'm in the acoustic, but you also have Powderfinger
fantastic
Pocahontas.
storytelling on that, as you'd expect from Neil, man. Well, I'm going to finish it off with a record that is definitely not as near as famous as any of the ones we've talked about, but it's great in its own right, man. Got to give some love to Marianne Faithfull with the record Broken English. This was one of those turning points that after years of drug abuse and laryngitis that really changed her voice into being a bit more gruff as it is today, man. And it fits well with the lyricism that she delivers on this, and she's kind of unabashed in that vocal delivery, which I think blends well with almost that new wave sound that is on the record. The title track, she even covers Lennon's Working Class Hero. I think she does a bang up job of that. And then we have the vulgar closer, Why'd You Do It, which everybody's at least got to listen to that track and see what Marianne's pulling out.
I've never listened to this. Now you got me intrigued.
You got to go listen to it, man. What a ballsy closer, so to speak, man. You'll just have to see for yourself. But really good effort by Marianne right there. And we also have some honorable mentions to note as well.
Yeah, we do. We got The Damned, Machine Gun Etiquette. Most of these are your honorable mentions, Tracy. You jump in if you got anything to say.
Yeah, well, Germs, iconic punk band produced by Joan Jett, the lone record from them. XTX's Drums and Wires, they really are going to be hitting their form in the 80s. But Blackfoot with Strikes, some nice classic rock. We got Can't Leave Out Chic with Risque as well, man. We got The Cure, their debut, Three Imaginary Boys, Gangs of Four, Entertainment. Prince is self-titled.
He may be appearing in future lists on a regular basis. Just a little sneak preview. Van
Morrison, Into the Music. We actually have a review of that up. Sister Sledge, We Are Family, Talking Heads, Fear of Music, and Wires 154 are going to round out my honorable mentions. But, man, I think that it's been interesting to note. It seems like in the 70s, the odd years were the strong ones, and I don't think that's different for 79.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's as strong as 77, 75, 73, or 71, but still finishes out reasonably well as the music landscape is changing. So that's going to do it. As I mentioned, guys, let us know who you think won down below. Give us your top 5. Who do you think we missed out on? And we'll be back with 1980 next week.
All right, man. And until next time, thanks for watching, y'all. Happy listening, and we will see you.